Oh, come on. Let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's a lot better. I'm Ronald. I'm the Assembly Member's Chief of Staff, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to Assembly Member Manfredi Rodriguez. Hello, and thank you all for coming out this morning. Once again, I apologize for starting a little late. I take care of my parents on the weekends, and that's had a little difficulty getting somebody to come over and take care of my dad before I came out here. But thanks for coming. I think some of you are new. If not, some of you may have come to some of my community coffees. These are things that I do at the beginning of the year, kind of telling you a little bit about what's going on in Sacramento, but really listening from you about any issues and concerns you may have, and really how we can work together to make this a better community, a better state. We all may not agree on the same things, but at least we have the dialogue that we can discuss about issues and concerns. So quickly, para la gente en español, for folks in Spanish, me da mucha gusto que estar aquí con ustedes. Puerta de Valle, todas las cosas que hacen ustedes muy bien, me gusta todo. Y no pares de decir preguntas, si tienes algo en español que quieres decir de algo que tienes información. So I just said in Spanish, welcome to Puerta de Valle. I don't know if some of you folks have been able to see what they do here in the community. It's a community garden. They were very instrumental in the city of the city of Ontario, to help with the TCC grant, securing $35 million for the city of Ontario. Working together, that's what it's all about, right? So with that, I want to go on to our state budget. California is, as of today, if we get a budget going, we have $18 billion in reserves. It's probably the largest in ever. A lot of it is because of what happened with Governor Brown. He'd like us to save a lot of money because we never know when we're going to have that bad time of the year or the year where we're going to need reserves, right? And if we don't have a reserve,
And the pensions.
we start cutting a lot of the public and social services for the folks that are used to on them as well. One thing for me is really huge. Let me wait till the plane goes.
All right.
Some of you may or may not know, I chair the Assembly's retirement on the Assembly side, and I'm really pleased to announce this year with the preliminary budget that our governor has put through, he's putting $8 billion towards our pension funds at CalSTRS and CalPERS, $4 billion each, which is a big help because I had never thought this governor would put that money into our pension system in the state of California. As some of you may hear a lot of the issues with our pension system. It may not be the best, but it's not the worst either. But I think with this governor allocating funds, it's a huge step forward to securing our financial benefits for our employees.
So what is that one-time payment?
I'll get to that after.
Agnes,
let me just give you a blank
could you
overview,
hold
and
that
then
in front of
we'll
him?
open
I'll
up
take
for
it with you
questions.
in it.
I don't like the looks of it.
Thank you.
One of the other things
Beautiful.
as well, we're taking a new approach to ending homelessness, but also using money to help people in immediate need. We need to increase more housing. Supply statewide in the Inland Empire is ready to play a critical role, and this money is being already flowing into our communities in San Bernardino County. One thing that I'm passionate about that I really talk about is because of my EMS background, working for the ambulance industry for over 30 years, our 911 system is old and outdated. So there's some bills coming through to look at getting some more funding to our 911 system.
All right.
Okay, so we're looking at improving our 911 system. Like I said, redo and modernize our 911 network. Think about the wildfires, the earthquakes, the floodings. Some of these areas, especially the rural communities, are having a bad time connecting to 911 and talking to our first responders. The fires in Paradise, the fires near Napa last year, the year before, it's put a strain on our 911 system. Because of my background, it's really crucial that we upgrade that 911 system. Part of it they talk about is next generation 911. I think here in San Bernardino, you can already text 911. I think as we move forward in the future of technology, we're going to start to do maybe videos to 911, to the 911 dispatcher to actually not only talk about what you're seeing, but now you get a live feed, right? And then also it's going to be something to help our first responders, probably our paramedics in general, as they can see video, send that video to the doctor before they get to the hospital. So it's really needed that we improve our 911 system. And really it's going to better take care of us and our family ones and those in need. Talk about a couple bills that I'm working on particularly. I know there's several bills. Hopefully everybody has my contact of bills I'm working on, bills from last year and this year. Hopefully everybody has one. But for this year, more importantly, I'm going to talk about a couple bills that I'm working on, and then we can go on to others as well. The first one I want to talk about is AB 675, Prison Security Assessments. This bill will ensure adequate oversight, regular inspections, and timely repairs of our state's prisons and promote public trust in California's correctional system. I don't know if anybody remembers the escapee we had last year in January. Somebody escaped Chino Prison. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And so he escaped. Thank God they caught him within 24 hours. Uh-oh.
Here we go again.
Let me just...
And the helicopters.
So good enough, they caught this individual within 24 hours. So as I talked to the warden at the time to see about what occurred, and I don't think if anybody would want to guess a reason or two reasons why that person escaped. Anybody want to take a guess? Why somebody escaped the prison in Chino last year? Can
not
you
enough.
Give me a guess.
Not enough personnel.
What happened at the prison that caused them to escape?
You're not taxing us enough?
He wanted to be a female.
The problem was there was the lighting and the south perimeter of the prison was not working,
So
and sensors in the fence were not working.
Years.
Let me finish talking.
How
now.
many prisoners have escaped in the last 10 years?
Let me just tell you about the reason for this bill. So
that's what I'm asking.
it's in our backyard. The fence sensors were not working, and the lighting in the south perimeter of that prison were not working. And it sounds like they knew about this for a while, but they never really thought it was something important until somebody escaped.
So you mean this prison has walls?
This one prison has fences.
And fences, but it's a barrier.
So let me just tell you, so they weren't maintaining the prison. Chino Prison is one of the older prisons in the state of California, and unfortunately they weren't fixing the infrastructure that caused them. So this bill is going to look at prisons like Chino to make sure they update their infrastructure to make sure that we don't have these escapees, right? So that's something I'm working on. Another one is AB 329, Violence in the Hospitals. This bill will close a loophole.
I don't see it here. Okay.
What's the name of the bill?
Did you just recently introduce it?
No, it's been AB 329. Is it on here?
No, I don't see it.
This isn't a full list. Oh, this is only a partial. This doesn't have
Okay.
them all.
'Cause you
But
can
I'll
submit
give you the
25,
bill.
so-
AB 329. If it's not on there, you can write it down and you can look. We can get you some more information on it.
Okay.
329?
AB 329. This bill will close the loophole by equalizing penalties for assaults committed against healthcare providers, regardless of whether assault occurs inside or outside the hospital. So this going back to my experience in the EMS industry, taking folks to hospitals, and depending on the type of patient or the type of care or service they think they're getting, guess what? Some of the, not the patient, it's the family members. They start to assault our healthcare workers, whether it's the doctor, the nurse, the technician, and I don't think that's right. You know, here we're taking patients to a hospital to get treated, and for some reason, families may not like what's being done to the patient or the outcome. Guess what happens? They start to assault our healthcare workers, and I don't think that's right. So this bill will kind of close the loophole, because right now state law says that if the assault to a healthcare provider occurs outside the hospital, it's more severe, and inside there isn't any. So why can't we make it the same whether the assault occurs outside the hospital or inside a hospital? Wouldn't you guys agree? We need to take care of our healthcare workers.
Well, how many times
So that
has
bill is
happened?
focusing on that.
Why was there a difference in the first place? That'd be my question.
I
But
don't know, but let me just finish going over everything.
Okay.
Right? We can talk more about that.
Okay.
When we're done.
Now, the ones you're going over, let me get this clear. These are the ones that you personally had.
These are a couple that I'm working on right now. They're the ones that I'm talking to you about.
okay.
Which was the first one's AB 675, and the second one is AB 329.
Okay.
And two other bills I want to talk about is AB 26 and AB 27. They're in response to, I don't know if anybody remembers or recalls Prop 11 last year. It was on the November ballot. They talked about the closest ambulance will always be ready to respond to an emergency.
Okay.
And regarding active shooter training and mental health coverage to our first responders in the private sector EMS. Does anybody remember that? So that was not a good bill. I'll tell you that. That was something that was misled a lot of folks, because for one thing, that bill is only sponsored by one ambulance company, American Medical Response, which is the largest ambulance company in the state of California, and it was also supported by the California Ambulance Association. And I don't know, obviously, like I said earlier, I come from that background in EMS, or private sector EMS. And being with that said, AMR is not the only ambulance company in the state of California. There's dozens of more ambulance companies. So for right now, that should kind of send a message. Why only one ambulance company and one organization? And they talked about the closest ambulance will always be ready to respond. Well, guess what? That already happens. And they talked about the active shooter training and the mental health care and coverage. But listen to this. Why would you need a bill? Why would an industry create a bill to tell us what to do, right? You're telling us, an employee, that we're going to give you mental health training and active shooter training. That's already being done. Not to mention the closest ambulance, like I talked to you, is always ready to respond. Deep down inside that bill, there was language regarding litigation and lawsuits. Currently, right now, American Medical Response is facing a $100 million lawsuit for unpaid wages and meal and rest breaks. So they figured if we can spend 20, 30 million on a ballot initiative and in a sense trick the voters without talking about that one sentence, guess what? We're clear free of a $100 million lawsuit. So I guess in the business thing, doesn't that sound right? Should I spend 30 million versus a $100 million pending lawsuit? So that's how that came about. So those are my bills, focusing on AB 26 is equipping our first responders with safety gear, protective gear. AB 27 is Mental Health Safety Act, to make sure that mental health sessions of violence prevention training programs provided to the EMS workers through Prop 11 are comprehensive and of high quality.
Okay, I have a question now.
And I have a statement I'd like to make about that too.
Let me finish these and we'll go to the bills.
Because the fact is that private ambulance company individuals, they wanted to be able to be free to work and not be pushed or forced into a break, because that would cut into their wages. That's why I voted for that, and a lot of people voted for it. So that's not fair. I've talked with ambulance workers, so
those,
I just had to correct the record on that.
More in detail those. The other one I want to talk to you about is SB1 funding for the City of Ontario. Currently, the City of Ontario is getting, let's see, do we have a number here? That was regarding last year, regarding SB1 funding for cities for road repair.
The gas tax.
The gas tax.
So Ontario didn't get its money?
They got a slice.
Never enough.
35 million for the past. Do we have it on here?
So where'd the rest of it go?
Yearly, or was it yearly?
It's yearly.
Went to the unions.
So yearly for the next 10 years, the City of Ontario specifically will be getting $35 million. I know we'll be having one of the council members from Ontario coming shortly. He can probably tell you more about what the City of Ontario is doing with that money to ensure that we're really addressing the issues and concerns regarding street and road repair.
I wonder if it's Paul Leon.
That's all from the gas tax?
So you said it started last year, sir?
Yes.
So that was in 2018.
Yes.
So to 2038, am I adding this right? You said no, 10 years.
10 years.
2028, we have 35 million going strictly
Yearly to Ontario, specifically Ontario for road and street repairs.
Okay,
But with
road.
that, like I said, one of the council members will be joining us. He can talk a little bit more about where that money's going, where they're allocating it to certain street and road repairs. Just because you may not see it in your neighborhood doesn't mean it's not happening in a different part of the city. But I don't want to speak here for the city exactly where. That's why it's important when he shows up, you can ask him directly. I can tell you general stuff,
Okay.
but more specifics, we go with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, but just another question though. Does this include all of the graffiti we see up and down the 10 freeway and the 60? Was that part of this? Can they use this for that? Because I don't know, I'm sure most of you have traveled to other states and gone through New Mexico and Texas
Yep.
and all those things. The 10 freeway, beautiful, Arizona. You come to California, and I'm proud of our city. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm
should
very
be.
proud. You come to California, we have graffiti, we have everybody's signature trash. Come on, we can do better than this. We
That's
pay our
a city
taxpayers.
council thing, responsibility.
Right.
Most cities have a graffiti removal.
And
Yeah,
we'll
but
talk a little bit more
It's not
about-
working, is it?
No, it's not working.
We'll Yeah.
On the Assembly Members website, there is a product that says SB1 projects, and it'll list everything that's on the state side, on the projects that have been proposed and what is being allocated to them. So you can see that. If there isn't something there, the Caltrans would be the one that would be doing this.
I talk to Caltrans almost every day.
Awesome.
I'm serious.
So we got our gas tax raised, and the city still isn't getting money.
Because to me, it's like putting a Band-Aid on.
Unbelievable.
Well, and what I was about to say is that once you guys call Caltrans, call the Assembly Members office. We can also call and track those calls
All right.
that you've made.
So I can call his
Yeah.
office, right?
So
I have
with
a
that, like I
question.
said,
The $35 million, is that from the gas tax that the city will get a
Yeah.
year?
That's what the city just allocated for the city, what they're going to be getting, their share, right?
From our gas
Yes.
tax increase?
Yes, I mean, every
Wonderful.
city's gonna be different, but right now we're just talking about the city of Ontario,
Okay.
the money they're getting and what projects they're looking at doing, right? I can't speak for everybody else because this is an Ontario Community Coffee. We're gonna talk about Ontario issues.
Yeah,
So
but
with that,
do
and
you
like I said,
ever drive
so
around
come back,
Ontario?
like I said, if you see
Let
any
him go.
area
Do you
that-
ever
Let him do
drive
the
around
overview,
Ontario?
and then we
the
can
office,
interject.
call Caltrans, and we'll get it taken care
Well,
of because
she
it's not
did.
fair if you're calling and weeks go by and nothing's getting done. Reach out to the office.
I just feel like we're Ontario being, to me,
Yeah,
out of
but
all the cities.
why do we have to do that?
We have beautiful homes, we have places that people can go and do and stuff. But when you come down, it's almost embarrassing when we get to this. And then we have the airport, and this is what people see of us.
Yeah.
You know, graffiti and trash, that's not us.
No,
Right.
no.
All right. Well, we'll make sure we get that addressed, and like I said, we'll do our part to help with the city, and then hopefully when our council member comes, maybe he relate more about what they're doing as well. Because really, this is your guys' meeting, talk about the issues here in Ontario. So with that, like I said, I talked earlier about the $35 million, the TCC grant, because folks, like the folks that work here, Huerta de Valle, where is our folks from Huerta de Valle? I think we're happy getting that funding here. Working with the City of Ontario, my office, and Senator Leiva's office. $35 million is a huge amount of investment to rehabilitate the downtown Ontario area. And I think in the next couple of years, you'll see a big transformation of what's happening in Ontario. But that's when we work together with organizations like them to bring funding here. And really, we'll see the results in a couple of years. I can go on and on about a lot of issues that we're working on, but I think that at this point we'll open it up to you folks because, like I said, this is your meeting to hear about issues and concerns. And I don't want to sit here and talk about one issue all day when I know we'll probably have several issues.
Sure.
I want to make sure that we can reach out to everybody, address their issues and concerns. And if we don't have an answer, we can follow back up with you with that answer. So
I've got a question over here.
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Do you promote what Governor Newsom is doing by giving the illegals in San Diego $25 million to house them and feed them in San Diego? Are you for that? That's part A. Part B is, are you for or against illegal immigration?
Well, our immigration
Illegal.
Our
Okay.
immigration system is
Illegal.
broken. It needs to be fixed.
Well,
There's a lot of
Let's
issues.
Answer the question.
Just answer
You
the
don't have
question.
to
So
go
I'm
into a lot
gonna
of detail.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you, and we can
you're not
follow
gonna
more
answer
about
it.
it, right? Because like I said, immigration is a big issue. It's
Well,
talked
be
about throughout
specific.
this
I was
country.
specific. I want you to be specific yourself.
Well, I'm gonna be as
Answer
specific
the
as I can
question
be,
as to
right.
the way I asked it.
Our immigration system is broken. Needs to
No,
be
that's
fixed.
not what.
Okay.
That's not what I said.
But you're
Yes
already
or
giving
no?
money
That's
to
not
illegal.
what I
as
said.
best we can.
Yes or no?
But I don't want to go
For
here and
or
go back
against
and engage.
illegal
Okay?
immigration?
So that's the best question I'm gonna tell you right
I'm
now.
here to hear you. I came here to hear you.
Exactly.
That's
So
yes or
we
no.
can talk
Yes
more
or no.
about that, and really our immigration.
Let him answer the question.
He's not answering it,
He's
though.
not answering.
Okay, well, let him answer the question. I didn't come in here. So let him answer the question. I don't have time for all this.
I'm here because I want my question
There are ground
answered.
rules at this. There are ground rules at this event, and the ground rule is we're not going to scream and yell at each other. We're going to ask a question, and the
Answer the
assembly
question.
member
And I'm
is
gonna
going
answer
to
the best
answer
I
back.
can.
Listen to
That's
him.
it.
Well,
Okay.
answer it then.
So like I said, well, you guys keep interrupting me. Our immigration system is broken. It needs to be fixed. Unfortunately, that's a big federal issue that's being talked about daily, right? Unfortunately, that's something that I can't control at the federal level. Regarding what our governor is doing to help the poor, the immigrants, that is something we need to help them as best we can. You know, so those are going to be my issues, and that's how I'm going to respond to your
So you're for
question.
it.
So with that said, that's where I'm going to be at. I don't want to sit here and